Hello all and welcome to this AWS tutorial. In today's tutorial, we will discuss about AWS Secrets Manager and learn how to create a secret and use it with AWS MySQL RDS instance. Before we go further ahead, a couple of things to keep in mind. Using AWS Secrets Manager service can incur charges as it comes only with a free 30-day trial. Also, ensure that you clean up resources after this tutorial is complete. This is to avoid any surprise charges in the future. I would certainly recommend you to review this particular video that I had created some time back. In this video, I basically showcase how to create and store a secret and how to retrieve a secret using AWS Console and AWS CLI. I will have the URL of this particular video posted in the description. I will also recommend you to review this video that I had created on how to configure your user profile for AWS CLI. You will basically require this knowledge to proceed further ahead with this tutorial, as you need to configure the temporary user that we will create in this tutorial on your EC2 instance. Now, I'll not be showcasing all those steps in this particular tutorial. Hence, if you need to know how to go about doing that, please refer to this video so that it becomes easier for you to set up the temporary user on your EC2 instance. I will have the URL of this video posted in the description. For this particular tutorial, you need to do certain amount of pre-prep. First is you need to launch an AWS MySQL RDS instance. So I would recommend that you use free tier for this and launch this instance in your default VPC. Now you could go ahead and launch this instance in your custom VPC as well, but ensure that everything else is in the same VPC. So as long as you use the same VPC, whether it's a default VPC or custom VPC, you should be good. I would recommend that you use version 8.0.11 and instance type dbt2 micro. Configure the username and password as MyRDS2018. Now, these are the credentials that I will be using in this tutorial, but you are free to use any other credentials of your choice. After you have launched your RDS instance, go ahead and launch an Amazon Linux EC2 instance. Again, choose free tier and launch this in the same VPC. So in this case, it will be default VPC, and ensure that you enable public IP. We will use this instance as a MySQL client. I would recommend that you use instance type as T2 micro and open ports 22 and 3306 in a security group for inbound communication. After you have launched your Amazon Linux EC2 instance, go ahead and modify the RDS security group. This is to provide inbound access to EC2 security group on port 3306. Finally, go ahead and create an IAM user named tutorial. And this user should be in the same region as your RDS instance and your EC2 instance. Don't assign any permissions to this user. Just note its password, access key ID, and secret access key. After you have created your IAM user name tutorial, go ahead and SSH into your EC2 instance and change to the root user. Command to change to the root user is sudo su. After you've changed or switched to the root user, install MySQL client and jQuery. Command to install MySQL client is sudo yum install MySQL, and command to install jQuery is sudo yum install jq. After you've installed both of these, then go ahead and configure the current AWS user on your EC2 instance as tutorial. This was a user that you created right here on the top. And this is where you will need its access key ID and a secret access key. The command to set the current AWS user is AWS configure. If you don't know how to go about configuring your user profile of the current user, refer to the video that I had suggested earlier how to go about configuring a user profile, because you will need to know those steps, and you will need to have this particular user configured on your EC2 instance in order to move further ahead. While you're configuring the user, ensure that the region is the same as in your VPC. So whatever region your VPC is in, if it's your default VPC, ensure that you select the same region. If it's a custom VPC, ensure that you select the same region. And your output format should be JSON. So after you've completed the pre-prep, then you can continue further ahead with the steps that I will be showcasing now. So the first thing that we will do is we will actually go ahead and create a custom policy. So go to IAM policies and then create a new policy named secrets underscore manager underscore policy underscore for underscore tutorial. So this is the policy that we will create for our tutorial user. And once we have created this policy, we will go ahead and attach this policy to our user. So in case you would like to do this tutorial on your own, I have actually uploaded the policy on GitHub. So feel free to download the policy from my GitHub account. It's right here. I will also have this URL posted in the description of the video. So let me quickly switch to my AWS account. So this is my console. And as you see, I have the tutorial user right here. And so as we discussed, we will go ahead and now create a custom policy. So click on policies and then click on create policy. And then I will, since I have the policy ready, I'll be switching to JSON and I'll paste the policy right here. So this is the policy that we will be using basically to grant permissions and access to our tutorial user. So as you see, the first action that we are permitting it to do, the effect is allow, and we will basically allow it, grant access to it on secrets manager service so that it can get secret value. After that, you see that there are a couple of permissions for EC2 to describe the security groups, subnets, and VPCs. KMS is very important when it comes to AWS Secrets Manager, because internally it uses KMS to basically encrypt the secret text data. And you will see when we create the secret shortly that it will ask you for the KMS key that you want to use for encryption. Along with KMS, we need to provide access for RDS. So as you see, describe DB clusters or DB instances. And then finally, it requires permissions to get resources over here. And the effect is allow, and resources basically all resources, because we have EC2 instances and RDS. Instead of listing all resources, it's just easier to give all resources. So I'll go ahead and copy this policy, and let's paste it right here. After you have pasted the policy, click on review policy, and then it's going to ask you your name. So this is the name of my policy, so I'm going to just go ahead and copy that and paste it right here. And in the description also, I'll paste the same, and I'll just append it with the word description. And then scroll down and then click on create policy. So after this policy is created, we will basically now go ahead and attach this policy to our tutorial user. So in order to do that, first we need to search for the policy. So type the policy name right here. So as you see, this is our policy that we created. This is customer managed. So select the policy, then click on policy actions and click on attach. So this will show you the list of users that you have in your account. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to tutorial user. So select tutorial and then click on attach policy. And our policy is now attached to our tutorial user. Okay, so we have completed these set of steps successfully. So the next thing that we need to do is now we need to go to AWS Secrets Manager and create a new secret right here. And we will basically create a secret as for type RDS database, and I'll showcase that to you shortly. The username password for my RDS instance is my RDS 2018, and the encryption key we will use over here is going to be the default encryption key. Now this is where KMS steps in, because you could potentially use your custom KMS key as well, but for this particular demo, I'm going to use the default KMS key that is going to be available. And finally, we will give the secret name as MySQL secret. And for this particular tutorial, I'm going to disable automatic rotation. I'll create a separate tutorial on that. And once we have provided all these parameters, we will review and store the key. So let me switch back to my AWS account and go to Secrets Manager. So this is Secrets Manager service right here. Click on Secrets Manager and click on Store a New Secret. Now, as you see, there's a pricing involved, and it only has a 30-day free trial. So be careful, okay, because you could potentially incur charges. So let's go ahead and click on Store a New Secret, and we will select over here credential for RDS database. So the username is my RDS 2018, and the same is my password as well. So I'm going to copy that. So as you see, this is my password. And over here, I'm going to select the encryption key. As you see, select AWS KMS key for encryption of your secret. I hope you're able to see that. I'm going to temporarily zoom in a little so that you can read it. So if I scroll down, this is where it uses the AWS KMS key. Hence, we had provided it the access to KMS keys. Okay, so this is very important, guys. In case you do not provide access to KMS, then this will fail. Okay, so in case you're getting any errors or anything, go back and check the access of your user. You need to ensure that you have provided access to AWS KMS. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out, go back to regular 110%. So this is, I'm going to use the default encryption key. If you want, you can use custom keys. Like for example, I have this custom key for S3. If I want, I can go ahead and use that. But for this demo, I'm just going to use default encryption key. Now go ahead and select your MySQL RDS instance. So this is my instance right here. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and then click on next. Finally, you need to give a secret name. So I'm going to give the secret name as MySQL secret, and I'm going to give the same as the description over here. Probably just going to append description word at the end and click on next. And I'm going to disable automatic rotation at this time. I'll create a separate video as to how you can enable automatic rotation for your secret keys, especially when you're using it with your database. And then finally, just go ahead and click next, and it will give you a preview right here. So this is what we have selected so far. And at the bottom, it will give you some sample code. So it will give you sample code for Java, JavaScript, C#, Python, Ruby, Go, in case you want to use this in your application and fetch the secret value using any of these languages. At this time, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Store. So after I click on Store, it will basically go ahead and create this key for me. So click on Store. Okay, so it says could not because a key was deleted. So I probably had a key with the same name earlier. So I'm going to go back and give it a different name. So click on previous. So if you have created a similar key in the past and deleted it, then it will give you that error. So just go ahead and give a different name. So I'm going to give it a name over here as MySQL secret demo. And I'm going to copy the same thing right here. Okay. And then click on next, next, and finally click on store. So hopefully this goes through. So yes, it was able to create my key successfully. As you see, my SQL secret demo was created successfully. And this is a key right here. So go ahead and click on the key. And when you click on the key and scroll further down, click on retrieve secret value. So once you click on retrieve secret value, it will actually show you all the values that we have stored as a part of this key. So you can see that I have stored my username, password, engine. So engine is MySQL, my host, which is actually my RDS instances ARN right here, the port that is going to be used to connect to this instance, and the DB instance identifier. So this is over here in a key value pair. If you click on plain text, it will basically show you the entire value of this key, which is made up of all of these values in a JSON format right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click on close. I'm not going to make any changes to this now. Okay, so let me switch back. So we've completed all of these steps and we've created our key. Our key name is MySQL secret demo. Okay, so the next thing that we will do is we will basically go ahead and SSH into our Linux EC2 instance, and we will connect to our secrets manager using AWS CLI and execute this function called as get secret value and get the secret value of our secret that we just created. Okay, and then finally we will use that particular secret value and store it in an environment variable named secret. So as you see over here, I have the secret variable, which is an environment variable, and this secret string value will be stored in this secret variable. Finally, once we have got our secret value in a secret variable, we will basically extract out the username from our environment variable and store that in an environment variable named user. After that, we will extract our password and store that in an environment variable named password. We will extract our host and store that in an environment variable named endpoint. And finally, we will extract our port and store that in an environment variable named port. So let's go ahead and execute all of these commands on our Linux EC2 instance. So I'm going to switch to my EC2 instance. So this is my EC2 instance right here. I've already SSH'd into my EC2 instance. And just to keep things simple, I have basically copied those commands right here. So I'll have to go ahead and modify my key name because our key name is MySecretDemo. And this is the entire command to extract the key, basically fetch the key from the secrets manager and then extract the key from the secret string using jQuery and storing it in our environment variable named secret. So let me go ahead and copy this and then execute this command right here. So as you saw, our command got executed successfully. Now let us see what is the value of our environment variable named secret. So this is the environment variable, and I'm going to go ahead and echo this variable. So hit enter. And as you see, you can see the entire plain text that we saw earlier. So you can see the username, you can see password, you can see engine, this host right over here, this port, and the DB instance identifier. So basically, our entire secret string has now been stored successfully in our environment variable named secret. And we will basically extract out username, password, port, and the endpoint from this particular environment variable and store them in separate environment variables named user, password, endpoint, and port. So let me go ahead and execute those commands one by one. So this is the command to extract user name from the secret environment variable. So there it is. So we've successfully extracted the username. So let me go ahead and echo this. So echo user. So as you see, our username has been extracted successfully and stored in our environment variable named user. Next thing that we will do is we will basically extract out the password. So let me copy this command right here. So as you see, our password was also extracted. So I'm going to go ahead and echo our password. So this is the password, which is my RDS 2018. Similarly, we will extract the endpoint. So we will extract the value of host from here. As you see, you have a host key value inside your secret string. So I'm going to extract the host value and store it in an environment variable named endpoint. So paste this command right here. So let me copy this and paste it right here. So as you saw, our host value is now extracted and stored in an endpoint variable. So let me go ahead and echo that. So this is our endpoint right here. And finally, we will extract the port and store it in the port variable. So right click and there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and echo port now, and port is 3306. So essentially, in short, we have all the required parameters extracted and stored in our environment variables. And if you go to see, if you think about it, basically these are all the parameters that you require to connect to your MySQL instance. So typically, you might have seen me in my other videos that I generally type out the endpoint, type out the username, give it a port, and then I end the string with -p so that it prompts me for the password. But today, what we will do is we will use all of these values and connect to our MySQL instance. So that's the next thing that we are going to do, is to connect to our MySQL RDS instance using the credentials that we fetched from our secret string, from our secrets manager. So the command for that is MySQL, and then you give the endpoint, then the user, and then the port, and finally you give the password. So let me go ahead and copy this command from here. So this is the command. I'm going to copy this command and paste it right here, and this should connect us to our MySQL instance. So as you see, I have successfully connected to my MySQL instance without providing any information explicitly. Now, this is the beauty of Secrets Manager, right? You can store your username, password, port, your endpoint, everything over there. So in case something changes, you don't need to go and change your code. You don't need to go and change your config file or anything. All that you need to do is just fetch this in an API call, get this information, store them in your variables, and then accordingly pass those variables to your connection string, just like how we connected right here. So if you want to clear your screen once you are in MySQL, the command for that is Control-L. So this will clear your screen, okay? I had a lot of stuff on my screen, so I just wanted to have it cleared out. So in order to check as to what is the current user that is logged in into MySQL, type status and semicolon and hit enter. And this will actually show you the current user that is logged in. So that's right here. You see the current user is MySQL 2018, which is our user. And the connection is TCP/IP. And this is our server, or the endpoint that we had used for our connection. Okay, so let us go and execute a command over here like show databases, and this should show you the default databases right here at the bottom. So you see all the databases have been enlisted over here. Okay, so we have successfully completed all the steps and connected to our MySQL RDS instance using credentials fetched from our secrets manager. So this is all that I had for today. Hopefully you guys liked this video. Please provide your feedback and let me know if I can improve, or if you would like me to create any video on any specific topic. It does take me some time by the time I complete other videos which are currently in pipeline, but I'll try to reach to your request as soon as possible. So thank you very much and have a nice day, and I will see you shortly in some other video. Thank you and bye-bye.